the Great British Roadside Verge. The Great British almost flowerless roadside verge. We're nearing the end of April and there's already been first cut to these roadside verges by the local council. Why do we still do it? There's no need for such an early cut. These verges could be an absolute haven for wildlife. They do act as natural corridors almost, but they could be a source of nectar, an abundant source of nectar, but instead we reduce them to just green leaves. It's that time of year again. Dandelion time. What a fabulous flower it is. I never get tired of seeing dandelions, and this year seems as good as ever, if not better. This meadowland here at Eakin I've featured many times before, and I featured it this time last year, and to be honest, if bluebells are regarded as one of nature's spectacles, one of the few spectacles we have in the UK, then why not the humble dandelion? Well, I'll tell you why not, because it'll never be regarded anything like a spectacle, and yet it is. Glorious, beautiful yellow fields now that the dandelion is in full flower. And the reason it'll never be regarded as a spectacle is that it's just so common. And in 90% of people's minds across the country, it's just regarded as nothing more than a throwaway weed. And yet it shouldn't be. The leaves are lovely. Apparently, they make you go to the toilet quite a bit. I think years ago, one of the common names, or one of the sort of village names, it would be referred to as pee the bed, because it made you want to go. It's still a beautiful flower, absolutely beautiful, and when seen like this on this meadowland just north of Eakin, it's an absolutely stunning picture. Far better than your manicured lawn, or even your plastic lawn, God forbid. How many people remark at a field or a meadow full of dandelions? There isn't one in shot from the angle you're looking at me at, but oilseed rape. We all used to go mad years ago if we saw a field of oilseed rape, because at one time of day oilseed rape used to be quite rare and uncommon in the UK. And you'd see one distantly and go, look at that yellow field. In fact, there's one behind camera. But then, once the price of oilseed rape went up, nearly every field, certainly about 2/3 of the fields in the Eakin area at one time when I birdwatched here, became yellow. There's one at the moment in the area, that one that I mentioned over there. That tells you the price of oilseed rape at the moment. It's been like that for a couple of years. It's been low, that's why it's not being grown. The money at the moment is in cereal crops, but it'll change. Another couple of years' time, the number of oilseed rape fields will increase as the potential profit from an increase in the price of oilseed rape increases. But oilseed rape's a different kind of yellow. It's a brighter yellow, a more sort of artificial yellow. This is a proper yellow. Beautiful. I do love me a dandelion. It's a fabulous flower as well. You should take time out to appreciate dandelions. And as I sit here in this field of yellow being bone idle, as I've been driving here, I've noticed that the councils are starting to cut these down on the roadside verges. I don't know why. We're not even at the end of April yet. Dandelions hardly obstruct the view of drivers racing at 60 or 70 miles an hour down the country lanes of Nottinghamshire. There's no need for mowing. Not 2 or 3 times a year. Maybe once a year, just top it, and then another cut at the end of the year when everything's done. But to cut important nectar-bearing flowers down like dandelions in spring, and then claim to be biodiverse and so caring towards the wildlife and the whole ecosystem of a county. I don't think councils really are that eco-friendly at all. Not when they're mowing within a month of plants and grasses on a roadside verge starting to even think about growing. Could save a fortune by missing that first cut. There's no need for it. And say, dandelions form one of the most vitally important early season nectar sources for a huge array of insects. So think about that when you're pulling up the dandelions in your lawn. Why not leave an area of your lawn, or leave all of it, or maybe just cut a path through and let the wild flowers grow. Your lawn will look just as beautiful. And here is one, or rather 2 huge fields. You could class it as one field. Years ago it was separate fields, a number of separate fields, but now there's just one track that separates these enormous fields, and these are given over to oilseed rape. It smells absolutely beautiful. It's a really heavy scent. As I look across this field now, there's something missing. I know it's not the warmest of days, but insect activity is still quite decent, but not here. There's not a bee or a fly. It looks beautiful, and you may think that oilseed rape is a marvellous source of nectar for invertebrates, especially bees. It could be, and no doubt bees use it. The big problem with oilseed rape and its production in the UK is that it has to be sprayed several times a year. And I say has to. I think it's required by law that insecticides are used. There is a big problem potentially with a flea beetle that can quite demolish oilseed rape, but in persecuting that and keeping that down in numbers, it clearly affects everything else. Not a bee. It's a shame that they cut the verges. I know they've only taken or cut about a 3-foot strip down, but there really no need for it, not this time of year. You could at least let the spring flowers have their say and have their day. And to be honest, with the constant mowing of roadside verges over many decades, it's predominantly spring flowers like dandelions that roadside verges play host to. You don't get many late summer flowering species like knapweeds and thistles, but you've got the almost flowerless roadside verge, apart from where the stitchwork grows along the ditch here. But then you've got a 6 metre set aside strip in the field, and that's full of dandelions. Don't say that all farmers ruin the British landscape and don't put anything back or give anything to UK wildlife, because this farmer is doing just that by providing a fabulous nectar source in the form of one of our most beautiful bright yellow spring flowers, the dandelion. I love dandelions, if you didn't guess.